I'm excited as we step into the second hour of the run home here, wherever you may be listening throughout Western Australia. Get on the Cyclone Tools text machine 0487 736 736 or call the Kia open line 13 12 55. I actually held an Olympic gold medal. I have never done that in all my life, and I've been in broadcasting well before our guest was even thought about entering this world. We're talking about Saya Sakakibara. Saya, lovely to see you. BMX gold medalist. She's in the studio with Damo and Peter Vlahos now. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I honestly can't believe you've never held an Olympic medal.
You gave it to me, and I held
not
it.
Gay. Let's just clarify.
Well, you allowed me to hold that precious medal. I can't believe how heavy they are.
Yeah, it's quite cool. It really is. You know, it's so surreal that I'm going around the country showing these to many people around the world, and still so surreal. Honestly, I can't believe that this is my life.
Am I correct in saying that a part of this gold medal is medals from the Eiffel Tower? A bit of the Eiffel Tower is in here, am I correct?
Yeah, so like in the middle, the medal is like a piece of metal.
Yep.
That's literally a piece of iron that came from the Eiffel Tower, which I don't know how that works, because I was thinking, doesn't the Eiffel Tower, doesn't it need it? But yeah, it seems to be standing up all right now.
Do you still pinch yourself to realise what you achieved?
Oh, totally.
And how many times have you seen your performance replayed, maybe at home?
I mean, you know, that's one really cool thing that I'm like proud to watch it. Like when I think about what I did at Tokyo, like those videos from that racing, it's so painful for me to watch because of, or for the people who don't know, I crashed out in the semi-finals. And before then, I don't know, I wasn't performing at my best. I was just so sucked into this whole Olympic spectacle. I was so distracted. I wasn't focused, you know, and quite frankly, I wasn't, you know, prepared well enough for that BMX track. So to be able to have the ability to have gone to Paris and be able to watch that race back is one big tick for me. And that's what I wanted to come in and achieve for Paris.
Just quickly, because we want to get to know you further, but you mentioned touching a gold medal for the first time when it comes to an Olympian. I've never been able to see one from Paris. This is absolutely stunning. I was lucky enough to win one on the Gold Coast, but I've got a feeling the Gold Coast gold medal for the Com Games, no, it might not have been gold, because mine is not nearly as heavy as that. And I remember taking it back to my primary school. Someone dropped and I got chip marks everywhere. That is as strong as it gets. But let's rewind. What got you into the sport? Because I was doing a little bit of research, and some of the photos of you on a BMX, you couldn't have been much older than 5 or 6 years of age.
Yeah, totally. I was only 4 years old, and my older brother, Kai, who's 3 years older, he was the one who got me into the BMX because he absolutely loved riding his bike. And to be honest, I have stories where my parents bought me a bike, took me to the BMX track, went down the hill, crashed on the first jump. I was like, okay, yep, go back again, go down the hill, crash again. So I did that 3 times, cried and went home, didn't touch my bike for 3 months. And so I don't remember any of this, but I think that passion that my brother had for BMX, he was just obsessed, you know. That I just wanted to be just like him. And once I got on the bike again, I never looked back.
I remember it was cool when you could ride without holding on. So you put the hands down or thumbs up, or you pretend to run as you're riding the bike. Yeah. Everyone had their little tricks. And I remember I had a crush on a girl, and I was riding home, and I'd just been to the library to grab some books. We had a long car trip coming up. So I'd go to the library to grab some books. And I was like, oh, that's Amy's car. And so I started riding without holding onto the handlebars, but because I had books on one handle, it pulled the weight down. I went straight into a lamp pole right in front of Amy's. I haven't ridden since either. So you took 3 months off. I'm going off about 20 years now. But fast forward, you know, your brother, yourself, were you living in his shadow? Because a lot of the times I've heard you interviewed, you do like to mention Jai and all he has brought to you. But for a period of time when he was having the success he did you think, will I ever be able to accomplish what he's going through?
That's a good question. I've never actually been asked that before. I mean, it was just always Kai and we were doing it as a team. Like, we never had any kind of rivalry or competition between us, because he was in the men's, I was in the women's. And as we were growing up, he was just that big brother that wanted to support his younger sister, and he was the one that, pushed me into training. When I was wanting to be lazy and wanting to skip training, he was the one to be like, go jump that jump today, otherwise you won't do it for the rest of this year or something. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go do it, and I'll bring up the courage to do it. So, and then that translated to when we started racing the international season together, and that by that time we kind of knew each other as separate athletes, and we were there to support each other. So there was definitely no rivalry or anything like that, and we were both just supporting each other to try to make it to Tokyo together.
Well, it's quite unique. He would have been very proud. What was he like when you actually secured the gold medal? I gather he was present.
Yeah, he was. I think there's some footage of his actual reaction, which I haven't seen it back. It will probably bring me to tears actually to watch that. But yeah, it was just so special for him to be there. And he actually made it onto the BMX track when the podium ceremony was happening. And as I was watching those flags go up and listening to the national anthem, he was just right in my line of sight. And I was just like, oh my God, he's there. And after the podium, I just ran to him, hugged him, and he was just like, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, wow, how cool is it that he's made such progress to get to where he is then, to be there, to watch me win that gold and have that special moment together.
My firstborn is a boy, and then I've got my daughter, and they're 3 years apart, very similar to you and your brother. But let me tell you, there was a period of time where for a few years they didn't get on.
Oh, yeah.
Because brothers and sisters, siblings, have a period where, things aren't exactly all rosy.
Oh,
In fact, they get a bit frosty. Did you go through that period with your brother at all, or was it the BMX, the glue that kept you together?
Oh, absolutely. Went through that period, and I can't remember exactly what that looked like, but I remember being on the other side of it and being like, wow, we get along so good now. Like, we used to fight so much, and then now look at us, like, wow, we're having deep conversations. And yeah, it's a really good relationship.
It's your story that we want to promote and share today, but a part of your story is your brother's accident. Do you mind sharing what happened, and can you remember where you were when you heard the news?
Yeah, so absolutely. It was in 2020, February. This was at a BMX race in Bathurst. It was at a World Cup. And it was the last couple of races in the qualification leading up to Tokyo. And at the time, COVID, nothing happened. It was all good. Anyway, he crashed in the first race. And I actually watched his race. Usually I don't watch him race because I need to focus on my own racing. So I was there and I watched him on that big screen waiting for me to, get on the gate next. And as soon as he went down, I knew that it was really bad. So he obtained a traumatic brain injury and he was intubated on site and airlifted to Canberra Hospital, where he was in ICU for about, 2 months. So it was a crazy time for me and my family, because we just went from, the biggest problem for us is to qualify ourselves to go to Tokyo to represent Australia at the BMX Olympics, to now whether he's going to survive or not. And it was just such a uncertain time for us, but he was just so strong. He had a healthy body, which was great. He was young, and as soon as he started to make progress, he had an amazing mindset of just keep that perseverance and not even thinking of giving up. And for then until now, he's just made huge amounts of progress to be able to walk again, talk again. Now he's moved out of home, and now he has picked up a new sport, which is rowing, and trying to go to the Paralympics in LA. So it's incredible story of perseverance, and it just shows how amazing he is as a person.
Thanks for sharing that with us. I know it was difficult actually to reflect on that, because every time you probably speak about that, you get a bit emotional about it all. So but the next question is, how dangerous is the sport and the pitfalls associated with the sport? And how mentally strong do you need to be to get to the level that you've got?
Yeah, absolutely. In BMX, so we have 8 riders on the gate. We start on a hill that is 8 meters high, and we go from 0 to 50 kilometers per hour in 2 seconds. And then we go around a 350 meter track with jumps that can be long as 13 meters, turns, and we're all racing. There's no lines, there's no lanes, like you can go absolutely anywhere. So, with that aspect, it can be dangerous, and it can be, collisions, and you can also make mistakes to, jump too far, jump too less, and it's just part of the sport, that's just action sport. And that's what also makes it so good, because of how scary it can be. But it's also so thrilling when you finish that race and you're going bar to bar with 7 other people, and you're jumping, and it's like scary, but then also you get onto the other side and you're going so fast and you finish the line. It's like, wow, how amazing was that race? And, especially in the men's, there's actually a really good footage that Kai had when he was racing, and he had a helmet cam, and you could just see from the start, just like all the, the place switchings and changings they had in just like a 30-second race, of how exciting it can be. And that just shows how unique the sport is. But yeah, it can be scary, but that adds to the thrill.
I was going to ask you this, but I saw you walking up and there's a little old lady who was slightly in front of you. I saw you cut her off, push her a little bit. You are competitive. I love it. It's all about winning. But away from when you're actually out there competing, are you a bit of an adrenaline junkie, or it's just when you're on the BMX?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. What does that involve?
Do you just thrive on the thrill of, being not necessarily a daredevil, but, if the speed limit's 50, you like to go 52.
Or if you go to the Royal Show, do you go on the scariest rides and all that sort of stuff?
Oh, maybe. I mean, it's all depending on if it's safe, so for me.
Calculated risk.
Yeah, calculated risk. So growing up was never that daredevil. I was never someone that was so fearless that would just go out and jump and just see what happens. I had to have calculated, thought about it and be like, okay, I can do this because I jumped something similar on another track, or I've done this, so I should be able to do that. So I think that was probably, it was harder for me to progress, but it also made me much more mentally strong, that I had to work for everything that I jumped and every scary thing that I did, because once I've made it into the elite stage, I was, sometimes crashing and things like that. It gave me the tools to be able to, overcome those challenges of fear and be like, no, I've done this all my life. None of these things were easy for me. I can do this, and I can overcome this challenge as well.
You get to the Olympics, you win gold. We've spoken about that. But did you get to go out to any other events? And what was the Olympics like in general? Because as a spectator from afar watching through my TV screen, I honestly thought it looked like the greatest Olympics of all time. And I don't say that lightly, because I used to being able to say Sydney 2000 was the best by far. But I thought Paris might have gone above and beyond.
And, of course, a record medal haul for Australia as well. So it was a real party time after the Olympics, I gather.
Yeah, wow. Honestly, Paris Games is spectacular with both of those things. I would say for the spectators, how incredible it was to have those venues next to those iconic places, the beach volleyball next to the Eiffel Tower, and the skateboarding and BMX freestyle in the concourse right in the middle of the city. And I think the crowd was just absolutely soaking every minute of it up, and I could just feel it when I was at the BMX track and in the stadium. It was quite a small stadium, but it had a roof on top, no sides, and you could just feel the energy inside. The French crowd was going absolutely nuts. So for me, I felt, when they were calling out each of their names in the final, we had a French girl there called Axel Etienne, and she made the final. The crowd was going just berserk. And when her name was called, I couldn't help but smile. I'm like, how cool is it that she gets to be in her home country in the final of the Olympic Games, everyone cheering for her. So I think, everyone was just loving it. And And for me, I actually didn't get to go see any of the other sports, unfortunately, but I watched a lot on TV, and even the coverage as well was just incredible. Just being able to watch anything, and yeah, how cool is it?
You've spoken really well here, and you spoke very well in the interview on the Nine Network when you won gold. Can I, before we discuss why you're here, an ambassador, you're not competing here, but you will be at the Westside BMX Club in Balcatta, where the Racing National Championships are happening. You seem to be a very switched-on woman to me. What do you do education-wise, and what did you do? What did you study for, and have you got a degree in anything? Or tell us about your schooling and your education.
Yeah, so I just finished high school, and then basically went straight into professional BMX. And for me,
and it was affordable to do that for your family, to support you, maybe through BMX.
Yeah, so my parents we had this deal. We had the deal with my parents to, you try your best in school and we'll support you with your BMX. So there was a period of time where I was lacking in my schoolwork, and they were like, well, you're not going to be able to go to these races, or we're not going to be able to buy you the BMX parts that you need. So I really had to work hard with my school, go through the HSC and ATAR. I'm not sure if you have that here. Yeah. And then, work hard at it. And that taught me a lot about time management and priorities and things like that. And then being graduated high school, I was able to join my brother on the world stage and travel the world together, which was quite incredible.
As they were saying, D's get degrees. I'm sure you told that to Mum and Dad if you're anything like I was. What about goals from here? Because obviously we've got Los Angeles, and I believe you got a partner. He's French. He won a bronze medal. He would have felt that support of winning a medal in front of your home crowd. Do you have goals of being able to feel something similar Brisbane 2032?
Oh, totally. It'll be rude not to, it was so cool to watch my boyfriend experience what it was like to have a home Olympics. And in Brisbane, I'll be 33, maybe towards the end of my career for sure. But I think that it's doable. And if I'm enjoying it, if I'm healthy, if I'm injury free, why not? It'll be an amazing experience.
What about the sport itself and the growth that it has had off the back of the success I believe we should be crediting you with? Because here we are, we're talking BMX riding, which 12 months ago, I can honestly say, didn't cross our tables. Now we were genuinely excited for you to be coming into the show. BMX has continued to grow. Pete still uses training wheels, but now we see more and more people getting out there and getting on a bike.
Oh, really? That's so cool. I don't think I've fully comprehended this impact of this gold medal has on Australia, but being recognised on the street as a BMX racer is just something that I'm still comprehending of wow, these people woke up early to watch BMX on TV. You should be watching swimming or anything like that. But I really hope that I can inspire this next generation. I know that up until this point, it has been quite a selfish endeavour, I would say, of only focusing on my performance and being the best that I can be, the best athlete I can be to win this gold medal. But now I'm starting to understand it's not about just me. It's about inspiring the next generation. It's about sharing the sport that I love to more people, getting more riders on bikes. More people on bikes and chasing their dreams. I think I feel like I have quite a responsibility to be that role model for more than just the BMX community.